You are welcome to the Live Wisdom Conference. This is a quarterly conference that I organize. I share what I call wisdom keys. And over the past 2 years, we have held a number of sessions where we have shared powerful wisdom keys that I personally believe that if you apply them in different aspects of your life, whether it has to do with relationship or career or your academics or family life, ministry, anything you can think about, you can always find a way to apply these wisdom keys and you get a lot from it. So far, we've had about 9 episodes, 7 in the first season, 2 in the second season. We are in season 2, and today we are going to be dealing with the third episode of season 2. We began season 2 by looking at the ant, and we took a scripture. I always say that the Wisdom Conference is not a religious program, but I always reiterate the point that I'm a person of faith, and so once I'm doing something, even though it's not set out for only people who are Christians or a certain group of people, by all means, you see a scripture or two in it. And I always advise that don't let your faith prevent you from learning wisdom. In fact, the main thing at the Wisdom Conference is for us to learn wisdom from anything. So we picked from different kinds of models and things. And so in this second season, we went to the ant to consider the ways of the ant and to learn wisdom from those ways. We began looking at teamwork, how the ant, through teamwork, is able to accomplish so much. Then about 3 months ago, we had our second episode where we looked at the ant and visionary planning. The ant is able to see far ahead in the future and plan towards it. Today, we are still learning from the ant, and we are learning what I call the wisdom of thinking big for success. The ant is a creature that thinks big. It has a lofty mentality. The ant is not mediocre. The ant thinks big. And so today we are going to learn that way of the ant. We'll pick out the wisdom from it, and then we will see how we can apply it in different aspects of our lives. All right. So we'll be going into that throughout the next 1 hour. I want you to share the link on your statuses and in groups that it's allowed, and we'll move into it quickly. Now, I want you to watch a particular video that is going to give me the good foundation to begin what I'm going to be speaking about in some few minutes' time. So take a look at this video. And all right, so today we are talking about the wisdom of thinking big for success. And we begin with our first lesson, which is simply the wisdom of thinking big. Now, you must understand that in fact, not even one, the basic key to success, if you like, go and read 1,000 success books, read about, just go around, find books on success, books on becoming who you can become, the best of your ability and everything, the number one key that will always be given to you is your ability to think, your mentality, how you can think. I mean, how you think, what you think about. And one writer actually put it this way. I think it's actually Shifkera. He said that there are two kinds of failures, people who fail. The people who just get up and go about working without thinking. They don't think, they just go about working. And then there's a second group who think and think and think and think, but never actually put into practice what they think. For example, we are getting to the end of the year. A lot of people will start making plans for the new year. They will talk about things they will change, attitudes they will change, things they will learn, books they will read, businesses they will start, draw plans and things, and it will end there. And they will never be able to do anything. And there's the group that set out without thinking, they just go. Both groups usually fail. And the last wisdom conference, we dealt with the first part where you think, you have the wisdom of vision and you plan. And then we talked about the proactivity where you actually go and do it at the right time to be able to get the maximum benefits. But today we want to focus on the thinking, because you see that for you to fail, it means that there's a thinking problem somewhere. And in this world that God created, he gave lions their strength. He gave horses their strength. He gave eagles their strength. Those of you who like learning about these and watching National Geographic and these documentaries on animals, you realize that eagles can soar very high. They also have perfect vision. Horses are very fast. Like every animal has its particular characteristic that makes it outstanding. Some of them have a power to give electrical shocks. And so everything has its particular thing that enables it to thrive in its environment. And the greatest gift that we have as human beings to be able to thrive in this environment that we are in is actually our ability to think. And I don't know about you, but should you see an eagle that is not using its potential to fly high in the sky, an eagle that is not using its good eyes, its good vision, then I think you tell us that the eagle is wasting its potential, right? We all know of the story of the eagle that was raised with chicken, and it will always see eagles flying, but it was thinking that it was a chicken. And so that eagle never flew because it had the mentality of a chicken. It never thought that it could fly. Meanwhile, it had everything to be able to fly. In the same way, as a person, you have the ability to think. And if you don't use your ability to think to its maximum potential, you are just limiting yourself as a human being. And so I write that when you limit your thinking, you actually limit your potential as a human being. For example, if you think that you want to become, let's say, an employee of a particular company, and maybe, or let's say a secretary, good. You want to be a secretary, and then you'll be working, you want to be the most accomplished secretary, then you'll be working for that, your boss, for 50 years. Then you retire as the most faithful and loyal secretary. That is what you become. Opportunities will come and you will not even see them because your mentality is not in that direction to become that kind of secretary. Okay. Your mentality is to be this way and you maintain it. You are living in that particular way. On your right, is another kind of it's a picture, okay. I want to use it to move into my next point. And I spoke about the video, which is a very large ant city. Now, the picture on your right is a smaller version. It's not every ant city or megalopolis that you see that will be such large as what we saw in the previous one. The smallest you see are those that are, or the picture that you see on the right. And this one was made by using molten aluminum. Molten aluminum was put into an ant hill, a smaller one, and then this was what was formed. Now just look at how complex and how deep it is. You compare it to the structure of the ant. Don't look at it as a human being. Of course, as a human being, you see this to be small. But look at it as an ant, and you see how ants manage to build this structure. With that, just maintain this on your mind, because we are going to be dealing with this throughout today's Wisdom Conference. And it actually pays to think big. And I'll show you why it pays a lot to think big. Now, the second lesson is the wisdom of ambition. I said that it pays a lot to think big. And I'm coming to speak about it, linking the wisdom of ambition to it. Ambition is simply a desire to succeed. And the bigger it is, if we say someone is ambitious, it means that the person has a great desire to succeed. So that person is always thinking big, thinking about the next step, thinking about the higher dimension, the better way of doing things. But the mediocre mind is always thinking, oh, where I am is okay. As far as I'm okay there, I think all is well. As far as I'll get something to eat today, I'm okay. But that is not the mentality that pays. Now, history has proven to us. Now, I can't take you through all that, but when you have time, go through it. History has proven to us that the size of people's happiness, how happy you are, the size of people's bank accounts, like that's how much money people have, okay? The size of people's general satisfaction, like how you are satisfied as a human being, it is dependent on the size of your thinking. You see, how should I put it? Your ability to think, how big you think, it pays you in that a particular amount. People who think big, let me tell you the reality, who think big, they are actually people who are more successful than people who think in let me say a less or lower dimension. Now let me give you a story. There was this guy who was going to apply for a job, and he went for the interview. It was quite successful, so they were like, well, he's the kind they want. And so they are asking him, what is his salary expectation? Now, the guy was scared. He didn't know what to say. Of course, instead of him to mention a good amount of money, he looked at a certain range. Of course, because before he was coming for the interview, he read the range of salary for the people that are of his quality. So let me just assume between 5,000 and 10,000 Ghana cedis. So they asked him, and then he thought low of himself, and then he said, oh, he'll be okay with 5,000. And then the people said, fine, sure, we'll pay you that amount of money. Then some few months later, the company decided that they will hire another person and add to him for them to like work together. Then that person at the interview, it was quite successful, just like the other guy. Then they asked him what is his salary expectation. Then he said 10,000. And they were like, oh, 10,000. Why does he want to be paid 10,000? He said that, oh, that is the salary range. The salary range for people that do the kind of work that he is coming to do. They are paid between 5,000 to 10,000. And most of those who are paid 5,000 are beginners, and then people who feel that that amount of money is okay for them. But for him, he thinks that the quality that he's bringing into the company, he should be motivated enough to come to work every day and put in his best. And so he told them that he thinks that he deserves the 10,000. And if anything, then if they cannot give him that amount, they can give him non-taxable 8,000, because the 10,000 is with taxes and other things. They can give him non-taxable 8,000. So they agreed to pay him 8,000. So one day, the first guy was in a conversation with the one who came, and he asked him that, how much is he taking as his salary? And he said, oh, he's taking 8,000 per month. And the guy didn't understand. He even came first, he's taking 5,000, and this other guy is taking it down. So he asked him, why are they giving him 8,000? He said, oh, when they asked him during this thing, he said they should give him 10,000. They said they'll give him 8,000. He said, fine, he'll take the 8,000. So the guy went back to his boss to say that, oh, boss, why is it that you are paying this person higher than me? He said, oh, I'm not being unfair to you. The reality is that is what you agreed to on the contract. So we have to pay you by the agreement. If I was paying you less than it, you can say that I'm not fair to you. But based on the agreement, you decided to take 5,000. But he came and said that he will not take 5,000. He has to take 8,000. And we are able to afford it. So we gave it to him. The guy was sad, but he had to take it as it was. The reality is, the point is, it pays to think big. How many times, just think about yourself, how many times have you had an opportunity where you could make a request or do something that will bring you a great success? If it is money, it brings you a lot of money. If it is honor, it brings you money. If it's happiness, it brings you great happiness. But you thought low of yourself and you decided to pick a low choice. And then as a result, you didn't get a lot of happiness, and another person chose something and you were like, what? I should have chosen this. I should have chosen this. You see, it's a mediocre mentality that makes you behave in that way. And for most of those that have joined, I'm sure you are Africans, and it's something that I believe is in our blood. And if you don't take conscious effort to push it away, you always be thinking mediocre.